Pardon an interruption, this is Troy Hill with the Star Chronicles. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you're interested in making your own podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
The Dallas Cowboys, America's team.
Just Us Radio presents the Star Chronicles.
How about this, Cowboys?
Yeah! And goal. Elliott into the end zone.
Welcome back, Cowboys Nation. This is the Star Chronicles Cowboys Football Podcast, episode 15. We suffered another loss against the Minnesota Vikings, 28-24. Here in the great DFW area, tonight I got my co-host Lisa with us. Ron is out on assignment again. But what was your overall thoughts and opinions of the game on Sunday?
It was just really it was a train wreck for a lot of it. I mean, there was a couple of high points for me overall, but the slow start and it feels like I'm running in a gerbil wheel, but I can't get off of this crazy ride. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing every week. Now, some of the weeks we played a really bad team, we've ended up being able to win, but it's just a bad dream that I can't seem to wake up from.
Yes, and we've seen this before, so this is not like an anomaly. We do have a reason to complain. We do have a reason to panic, and still, as I sit here, there's fans acting like, some of us don't have faith in the team. It has nothing to do with having faith in the team. It's what we see every single week. I mean, just up and down performances. You get excited that they start doing one thing. Hop into the next week, they're not doing that anymore. Where is the consistency? And again, I must put the disclaimer up that we all love the Dallas Cowboys. Plain and simple.
To my soul.
Yes.
Like, it is part of my entire being. I don't introduce myself as I'm a Cowboys fan. I am the Cowboys fan. So don't at me, don't tweet me, don't whatever about my loyalties.
Yes. I mean, and don't do it to me because you will lose. And I hate to say it because I'll just make you look stupid. So just don't go there, please. And that's about as nicest way as I can put it. Because it's one thing being a fan, and it's another thing being straight up Steven for Colonel Candy. What was that guy's name from Django?
Oh, yeah.
Candy. I mean, because that's what some of you fans are acting like right now. Like, it's all great. No matter what happens, we're going to lose. Well, just keep on being a Steven. That's fine.
But that's the thing. And honestly, that kind of goes into one of the things that I believe is the issue. And I think we've talked about it in the group text. Losing doesn't mean less money for the ownership.
Mm-hmm.
He's worth more now than he was when he started. Way more. And it's not like this is a franchise that when you lose or you're mediocre, whatever, that the value of the team goes down, because people will never stop going to these games, in town, out of town, whatever. So while I don't necessarily question that I think they would like to win. I'm talking about the Joneses specifically. I think they enjoy winning. But ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, meh. Okay. I mean, like, what does it really matter to anything of substance for them? You know what I mean?
Yes, I totally agree. It's just one of those things when you I mean, it's just when you love something so much, and I love the Cowboys to death, but it's all right to criticize. I mean, you don't have to be blind. I mean, you can't sit there and tell me that you can sit in front of your TV or where the case may be and say there's nothing clearly wrong and trust the process. I mean, I just find it ridiculous. But let's go ahead and do this real quick. Let's go ahead and introduce someone that just hopped in on the line with us. We got Kyle here, filling in the void for the show, joining us. What was your overall thoughts and opinions of the game?
Gut wrenching. I mean, let's be real. It was a gut wrenching game. I mean, they had it. They just, I don't know, man. This team just likes to make things difficult, and they do it themselves. They don't like to get from point A to point B the easy way. They like to take the detour here and take a back way here, and it doesn't always work. And it's just frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it is just really, really frustrating just watching this team perform sometimes. And I mean, it does come down to just, I think the problem is with me right now is really just the slow, uninspired starts, of the game. I mean, if only the Cowboys weren't playing catch up to start like almost every game, where would they be? And their record. I mean, where would they be at this point if they started on full cylinders every single week? What's your? Go
Real
ahead.
Quick about that. I just heard a stat. The first quarter, they're getting outscored 55-37. In the first quarter, 18 points, and then the second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter, the Cowboys are absolutely dominating. I think the fourth quarter they're scoring 72 points to other teams like 28 or something like that. But it's the first quarter. They fall behind, and they're playing catch up the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. What's your thought process on the slow start, Lisa?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I think in the Minnesota game, like, obviously, they came back and they tied it up before half or whatever. But to me, but you're still our game plan changes clear. Well, I don't really even know that it does now that I think about it. But on a normal football team, your whole scheme would change if you got down, 2 or 3 touches, like it did for us, in the Green Bay game. Only I felt like we abandoned the run way too early in that one. But
yes, mm-hmm.
We're always playing. But I don't know. This is like what I'm trying to say right now is like what's going on in my brain. I'm so confused most of the time, and I don't know. Like you can't. If you want to run the ball on first down every play, you can't get behind by 2 touches. Mm-hmm. And if you want to be that predictable, you can't get behind 2 touches. Mm-hmm. If you want to run this play on first down and this play on second down and this play on third down, no matter what the yardage is for the first down, mm-hmm. you can't get behind really at all. But especially 2 touches.
But it comes down to the thing again is that, I just think that Jason Garrett, since he was part of this particular, team, the 90s Cowboys, and running just like a few plays, not like a lot of plays, just keep on just doing it and trying to impose your will. That might be one of the problems right there.
Okay, but at what point?
The process.
At what point does somebody hold him accountable and say, "Hey, asshat, it's not 1990 anymore"?
Yeah,
like you can't do it in this way.
Because the problem is you got Jerry Jones. Hello, I'm Troy Hill with the Star Chronicles Cowboys Talk podcast, sponsored by Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, free, which you can use right from your phone or computer with creation tools that allow you to record and edit to get your show sounding glorious. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So what you need to do is download the Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Did I mention it was free?
manager would have been fired 20 years ago. Let's be real here. How many 5-11 seasons? How many general managers would survive 3 back-to-back 5-11 seasons? 3 back-to-back 8-8 seasons. You know what I mean? Like this whole franchise is run ass backwards, in my opinion. There's a general manager with no accountability. He can, who cares? I mean, he can stick with Garrett for 20 more years. They could not win another Super Bowl in his lifetime. There's no accountability for Jerry. It's his team. He can do what he wants. There's no accountability.
Well, and like that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, and I don't know what it's going to take, because saying Jerry, we need a new GM, we need this, and we need that. That's something that's not going to happen.
Exactly,
Jerry Jones is not leaving.
Yep.
So we need to look at the next best solution, the coaching staff, and what can we do to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, what did you think about the comments referring to Tavon Austin in the game? As far as calling a fair catch on a kick return.
Well, I think it was super chicken-esque. I won't say the actual word of Jason Garrett, and I feel like his tone in the press conference Sunday night, Monday during the day, yesterday and today, or maybe not yesterday, but I know today, his tone indicates that he is now fully feels like he's on the hot seat.
Okay.
I think the comments, the post-game press conference for Jason Garrett Sunday night was the first time that he almost seems a little bit like a deer in the headlights. The thing with Tavon where he said, we didn't tell him, he basically said, we didn't tell him not, to fair catch it. And then he also, they were talking about the play calling at the end. He, in effect called out Kellen Moore and said, well, Kellen's calling the plays. And I've never heard him do that. He's always so vanilla, almost to a fault. Well, for sure to a fault, not almost. Mm-hmm. And so that night he was a little more, I don't know what the word, it's not stubborn, but it was more kind of, not spiteful. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but he was calling people out and not
arrogance about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of an arrogance and a little bit of a pass in the buck. And, normally his pressers are like, we need to execute better. We, it's so vanilla and so boring and so plain, and you don't ever get anything out of it. And so then the other night I was like, oh, wow. And he kind of said the same things, and I get it. It's frustrating when 9 different reporters ask the same question 9 different ways. That would be an ass whip for sure. But then come on today, and if you haven't had a chance to go listen to the press conference today, you have to go do it, because the reporters were not letting up. They were going in. They were just point blank asking him, and he did finally he did take accountability, but to me, it's too little too late today. And while yes, Tavon is a role player and he's special teams and, on some quirky plays on offense. But if you don't think for one second that those comments that they made about Tavon, don't people like any other player on the squad be like, well, if he said that about Tavon, like, what's he going to say about me if I screw something up? And then to come to, then it all comes to light. And, P.S., one of the coaches did tell Tavon to fair catch it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't directly from Jason. It was from the special teams coach. But it's like we've talked about before. Tavon will return a punt that I'm like, holy hell, you should have fair caught that. So there's no way he doesn't return that if he hasn't been given a red light.
Well, let me ask you this question. This is just a hypothetical thing. Let me see. How can I phrase this? Okay, well, my question is it just – I understand and I totally agree with Jason Garrett throwing players up underneath the bus, which I don't condone by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, is it Tavon Austin, and is he one of those players that don't have like that championship spirit too? Because like one of the things we've talked about with this team, because could you imagine if they would have told Deion Sanders when he saw that field to call a fair catch, and they would have told him that if he ran out the field? So is it like another one of those type of things? You see what I'm saying? Am I making it?
You mean Tavon's catching more flack because because he didn't have the autonomy to just say, I have 20 yards in between me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, but you got to look at the flip side of that too, because
Okay.
let's say Tavon says, "Holy crap, there's 13 to 15 yards in front of me where nobody is. If I get ahead of steam, I can probably turn this into 25 or 30."
Mhm.
Okay, but what if something goes wrong?
Like a
And
fumble.
he fumbles,
Yeah.
or
Block in the back.
a block in the back where then or he muffs it and we fall on it, but we're 10 yards, further back from where we are, or he dances around and wastes 10 extra seconds or whatever. The players like Tavon, because Tavon's also protecting his own interest.
True.
Yeah.
Because he is a role player and he has been released, not released, but, we got him in the trade. But, I get it from Tavon's perspective. And, I don't know. I don't think that Deion Sanders I don't think that he would have not returned that 15 or 20 yards. I don't believe for 1 second that Deion would have listened to the coach.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also don't believe that the other team would have believed, because part of the reason I believe that Tavon had so many yards in between him and the closest Viking player was because they knew they were going to fair catch it because of the time left on the clock. And while Tavon is fast, he hasn't really done much. Deion was always a threat back there. So
True.
if Deion's back there, the coverage is totally different.
True. Yeah, I just figured I'd throw that out as a hypothetical.
No, I totally get it. I totally understand where you're coming from. And the other, the third flip side of that is, if it is Deion Sanders, guaranteed Jason Garrett's not calling him out. Because then that becomes, Tavon took the high road, and I give him a lot of credit. He said, I heard him, I think it was yesterday, maybe Monday, maybe it was right after the game. I don't know when he said it, but he said, I talked to my special teams coach directly. It's over. I'm moving on. And that's all he said.
Yeah.
Tavon could have gotten real salty right then, because it made him look dumb.
Yeah, and that's a class. I mean, that's a class act saying it, in itself. I mean, I just like to think, even if it wasn't Deion Sanders, seeing that, how many NFL players would have took that chance? Because it's easy to tell you to do one thing, but then all of a sudden you see half of the Red Sea sitting there parted halfway in front of you that you might be able to get 20, 30. You might be able to break the damn thing. I mean, being put in that type of position, that's kind of a hard, the hard thing to really think about. Would you or wouldn't you? I mean, what do you think, Kyle?
Well, I mean, like I said, he's an expendable role player. You know what I mean? It's not like he's Devin Hester, where that's you are the return guy, you're the man. I mean, he's our fourth wide receiver. You know what I mean? And he's back there in special teams. I mean, he's kind of got to follow orders. You know what I mean? So if he was told fair catch it, I'm not going to break rank because they might cut me tomorrow. Like I said, you're a fourth wide receiver on this team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Deion can do what he wants because you're not going to cut Deion. You know what I mean?
No.
So I mean, like Tavon Austin.
And Deion for what he did, he was a man amongst boys for what he could do.
Exactly. I mean, even like I said, Devin Hester. We all remember him, right? Him and what's his name over at play for Kansas City? Dante Hall, right? Was it Hall?
Yeah.
That was their job. You gave them freedom to make their own calls. Like Tavon Austin, he's a role player at this point. So I mean, I get it. Someone tells you to fair catch it, just fair catch it. You know what I mean? So. Don't go
and I think too, I think hindsight is, I mean, it's easy. And that's the thing I was kind of gut checked a little bit, on Monday, in that, it's easy to look at those, to go to the play calls, on 2nd and 2 and 3rd and 5 or whatever it was, and go, what the hell? But in that moment, and you think about it, when I heard this perspective, I was like, oh, that's absolutely correct. And I kind of need to settle down a little bit because, 2nd and 2 with supposedly one of the best offensive lines in football and arguably before Sunday night, one of the best running backs, in the league. I take 2nd and 2 with the run to Zeke every time.
True. I mean, speaking of which, do we want to delve into performance of Dak, or do we want to talk about Zeke first? So, which one would you like to do?
To me, the conversation about Dak is easy. He was phenomenal.
It was one of his best games, for sure. One of his best games, I thought.
Decision making,
yeah,
accuracy.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, the if the two plays at the end, the next to last drive were RPOs, like they said.
Yeah.
This is the thing. This is okay. So, excuse me. The thing about Dak is clearly John Kitna has worked miracles on his footwork. We all saw the dance. I'm pretty sure one of my sales guys dislocated a hip yesterday trying to do it, and it was funny.
Yeah, and quiet is kept. That's the reason why Ron's not here on the show right now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I kid Ron.
Yeah, but like the only thing now that I feel like Dak has, and I don't know what the rules are. I don't know. Again, it's like that whole break and rank thing, and I've seen it 1,000 times on Twitter. Dak needs to take the play in. Okay, cool. But here's what I see. Like, Tony didn't do that at first. So, and I think people need to go back to that. It took Tony a couple, I don't know how many years really it took Tony before he was like, yeah, no, I appreciate your efforts, but hell no, because here's what I see instead.
Yeah.
And I think in those options on, 2nd and 2, and then they lost 3, and then it was 3rd and 5. Like, I was, we all know how I felt after the Saturday night, episode watching the LSU game, but I was a little peaked on Sunday, but I was even screwing at the TV. Like, this should be a designed run for Dak. He could have gotten those yards.
Game. He didn't run
not one time.
One rushing attempt from a Dak this game.
And that's the other thing I don't understand.
Yeah, but we'll see. The thing is, this is the thing though. You should have known it wasn't going to happen because the Cowboys would have sold they would have sold that play 2 or 3 times in the beginning of the game, and then had Dak run. They never sold it. I mean, they never sold it once during the game, and that's Cowboy play calling there. We're going to do this, and when you think it's coming, we're going to do this. It's cute.
God, yeah, I know.
And
they get too cute.
Yeah, and I mean that's the reason why I knew it wasn't coming.
Well, and have y'all seen the film of the 2nd and 2 play? Maybe it was the 3rd. It was 2nd and 2, 3rd and 2, and then 4th and 5. That's what it was.
Yeah.
On the 3rd and 2 play, where I mean, it looked like Travis Frederick got blown up. Like it was like he totally missed an assignment. Did you see his? Have y'all looked that closely to see his reaction?
Well, was it him or was it Connor Williams? I heard there was a miscommunication or something. Connor passed the guy off when he shouldn't have, or something like that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Travis was pissed off about it. Yeah,
but Travis wasn't looking at Connor when he lost his mind.
Looked at the sideline. Yeah, coach or something. Yeah.
Yes,
right?
And so there was something there.
Yeah,
but like you never see that much.
Yeah, not
reaction.
From him. He's quiet.
Not
Travis.
from him. No, not from him.
And he took the high road. He does a show on the Fan. I think that's on Tuesdays. And he kind of took the high road with that. But he did say there was a miscommunication. But, and so the people that are, and now we can, if we want to transition into Zeke, because it's what I'm about to talk about. People are on Zeke about the way he played. But if the minute you touch the ball, there are 2 defensive players at your hip, that's not on you.
Yeah, I mean, and I know there's high school football, and there's all these different leagues and stuff. I'm just telling you, back in my days and stuff, playing sports, being a running back or whatever, if I got 2 guys and stuff from me that ain't been blocked and stuff, there ain't nothing I'm going to be able to do. No matter how good I am, no matter how fast I am, or whatever. And I know it's easy for people to comment and be negative towards Zeke because, he just signed all this money to the contract. But I didn't see many holes out there for Zeke to run through, excluding maybe 2 opportunities. But, like me and Kyle was talking about, I'm like, well, you're getting beat up and there's no holes and stuff for like 20 carries and stuff. And all of a sudden when you get one, your mind's probably messed up by that point. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I like Zeke, but I was not the biggest supporter of paying him. I just feel like, what he finished at 40 yards. I could have had a second round. I could have had Tony Pollard out there for 40 yards. You know what I mean? I get it. The holes were there, but I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like when teams just feel like they're going to run game down, and they do. I just look at. I mean, how come Dalvin Cook isn't getting shut down? I mean, he's averaging almost 100 yards a game. I mean, everyone knows Dalvin Cook runs that offense. He doesn't get shut down.
Yeah.
And that line is, probably not as good as our line.
No,
is,
Cook
gets shut down, and
Cook was.
I mean, maybe it's the
Oh no, I was going to say Cook was falling down for 5 yards consistently.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like always 5 yards.
I don't.
But
you bring the line up, and it makes me wonder. I mean, is this line just past its prime? I mean, this is not 2014, and it ain't 2016. I don't know, man.
Damn right, it's past.
I think we're starting to see.
I'm gonna answer your question like this. Damn right, it's past its prime, and it's not a knock on the line because under line standards and stuff, you're probably still looking at the top five line in the league. But we're not what we were 3 years ago.
But when it comes to the running game, they're not getting that push on short yardage situations. That's my problem. A 2nd and 2, you can't get 2 yards with Zeke with that push. I mean, pass protection, they're leaps and bounds than last year. Pass protection. I think Dak's only been sacked like 10 times this season, where he was like second most sacked quarterback all last year. But they just cannot get those short yardage pushes. You know what I mean? They can't do it anymore.
Well, but I think part of the problem too is our inability to make adjustments within the game, because it goes back to those set plays we're running. Those defenses know exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah. So the thing and your comment right there about the adjustments boggles my mind. You know the reason why it boggles my mind? Because Jason Garrett and all of them are talking like, "Oh, I thought we did pretty good with our in-game adjustments." What the hell are they singing? We see.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Lisa. I'm sorry.
But even like Travis Frederick on his show on Tuesday, he said that, and everybody knows Mike Zimmer, and I mean, what a blessing he would be to have right now. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
But Travis Frederick said we were looking at defenses on Sunday night that we had not prepared for. We had not seen. So what that tells me two things. One, Mike Zimmer was prepared for because he knew what Dallas was going to throw at him, because my 3-year-old niece knows what Dallas is about to throw at him, at her. So but he also didn't put it on film and was able to make those adjustments after last week's game. So there was no film on it.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore it worked. Now I think everybody's like, well, why, if that's the case, then why isn't Minnesota that good? Because in the other games where Minnesota lost, they're probably playing coaches that have the ability to adjust inside a game and not be like, well, it's the 15th play of the quarter. We're going to run Zeke, or we're going to do a screen pass to Zeke on a 3rd and 2, and nobody's going to pull or whatever, it's like, it's scripted. And so you can't make those adjustments. And therefore it was, the offensive line was real sloppy. And I don't know if that was just pure. I think there's some injuries that maybe are just nagging. Obviously Connor Williams had a big one because he had surgery this week, but he was playing better, I thought, in the beginning of the year, and he's struggling, and it turns out he may have been dealing with the knee for a while. But I just saw an interview with DeMarcus where he was on a thing live from the Star, and he had a good point. He's like, I get it. He was like, if you're hurt, that's one thing. But he said, if you are well enough, and this is what I love about him, if you're well enough to put on your jersey and represent this team, then you got to be a gladiator. Everybody's got something that's hurting or injured or whatever. You got to suck it up.
This part of the season, you're damn right they do. I mean, that's the nagging injuries start. For some players, that nagging injury is going to start week 1, and they play. But I mean, Amari Cooper, perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying he's questionable right now, but damn well he's going to play on Friday or on Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that. Actually, did you hear what the line was today? The starting first team offensive line. It was Tyron Smith at left tackle, Xavier Suafilo, Travis Frederick, Joe Looney, and then Brandon Knight was the starting line because the Collins is got a banged up knee. Obviously,
Zach Martin.
Zach Martin is an elbow issue or something like that.
Yeah, it's
and
an
then,
elbow issue with Zach
and
Martin.
then obviously Connor Williams. I mean, I'm actually kind of interested to see if there's more. The run game is better with Suafilo. He's just a bigger guy. He's strong. So,
that's Connor Williams' biggest handicap, and we talked about that last year. We didn't. I mean, he wasn't big enough last year. He might still not. He still might not be big enough.
Yeah. So I think Suafilo, and he's experienced, and he was like, was he a first or high second round pick? I mean, the guy's got talent, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and last year when the same thing happened with Connor last year, and I don't know if it's his same knee, but exactly, it was right around this time when Suafilo came in for him last year. And the running game took off.
Yeah,
so
I think he's better for the line.
Yeah, he's just a bigger body, and that's the thing. When talking about bigger bodies, I think that's the thing that's missing on the defensive front. You know, I don't have a problem with Malik Collins. You know, his ability to play football. I think he and Antoine Woods are pretty decent.
Yeah, they're
interior linemen.
Okay,
they're just not big bodies.
Yeah, but I mean at the same time, I mean, I know I commented in our group and nobody referenced my comment or anything, but I really do like when Quinn, Lawrence, and Bennett are in there all at the same time. I really do like it. I mean, to me, it just seems like it seems like hell's getting ready to break loose or something's getting ready to happen.
It's good on pass rushing situations, but on first down and 10, this is the problem. It's a defensive philosophy. They don't want, the 400-pound lineman because you know why? He's not interchangeable. They can't position flex with him. They want a guy that can play 5 different positions on the line. You know what I mean? They don't want just a bag of dirt who only plays the one technique. They don't believe in that. They want the guy to play the one technique, the 3 technique. Oh, they can put him out like with line outside and search like. No, go get a guy who's 500 pounds that can stop the run. And
even if he's not mobile, he's going to take up space.
Space. But that goes against everything.
Rod
Marinelli's entire defensive scheme. Exactly.
Because
he wants position flex. That's all.
Because we've seen. I mean, in our lifetimes, we've seen several football teams that have that lineman just. He's basically just like a big-bodied, wide-shouldered mass that's going to be there in the middle of the line.
Okay, you're old enough to remember the guy for the Packers in the '90s. What was it, Gilbert Brown? Remember
yes.
He was literally like 450 pounds, and he had an all-black visor, and no one could stop him because he was literally 500 pounds and just took up space. He was
think about Vince Wilfork that played for New England for all those years. They don't win those Super Bowls without that big body. And then even when he came to Houston before he retired, like he
was still
made J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney better.
Yeah, there was that guy several years ago from Minnesota too. The guy, forgot what his name. I think his last name was Ball, but he would always line up where you would think his helmet was like offsides, like every single time, and never get flagged. But why can't we have that guy?
Yeah, because Marinelli, he doesn't believe in it. He wants a guy that can play both tackle spots. They've said
Marinelli's project can't play any spots right now because he's lazy.
Tristan Hill.
Yes.
They got to keep Marinelli out of the draft room. They have to.
They got to keep him off the payroll. Period.
He's just this team doesn't have the luxury of developmental guys under Marinelli. His record's not between Taco and Tristan Hill is not looking too good right now.
Yeah. Well, Tristan Hill. Yeah, I don't know what's going to end up happening to him, but it's not going to be on the Dallas Cowboys, whatever it is. But
I don't think so either. Yeah.
I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, just going back to that. Our track record of turning around troubled players and stuff, it's really not that good.
Yeah.
I don't know where this big eye. I don't know where this.
It's a myth. It's a myth. Yeah.
I mean, outside of Charles Haley, but even at that time, he wasn't deemed as a troubled player really until he got to the Cowboys. It was like more kind of like after his career was over.
Yeah.
Demetrius Underwood. He was a trouble player. I believe he started with the Bears, came to the Cowboys and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it has happened. But then again, that's back at that time.
That's years ago, yeah.
Yeah, where you could turn, crap into, a scoop of your favorite ice cream and stuff. If we were under the Cowboys organization, it's just not the same anymore.
I mean, they just, like I said. I mean, look at the past 5 years. Greg Hardy, how'd that work out? One season, they got 8 games out of him, and he smack a coach's clipbook off the hands.
Yeah.
Okay. Rolando McClain, you got one season out of Rolando McClain before he went schizo and burned his house down and just never showed up. Just didn't show up anymore.
Yeah.
Randy Gregory. Yeah, he's no. The guy. Let's be real here. He just can't get his act together.
If everything was on the up and up and everything with him, why hasn't he tried to apply for reinstatement?
Exactly. I just don't get it. Yeah, it makes no sense. That makes no sense either, and no one's talking about it. I mean, for me, with him, he out of sight, out of mind. He doesn't even register to me as a Cowboy. You know what I mean?
Just my whole thing is like, I know there's a rule. I mean, talking about people with the marijuana use, I understand, people have a problem with that. People like to do that stuff. That's how they cope with some things and stuff. But I'm sorry, the rule is the damn rule.
Exactly. You got,
until the rule changes, I can't condone what you're doing because you're the one that's making all the damn money.
Yeah, you're taking that chance. Yeah.
I mean, for me, if you tell me that I would have, we'll pay you $3 million a year to play football or whatever, or do this or that, and all you need to not do is smoke weed.
Oh, please. Yeah, I know.
I mean, how hard of a decision is that to make? David Irving.
David Irving, that's what I was going to say. David Irving. He's another one.
For sure.
Yeah.
But, okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here because, the Randy Gregory thing, it's way bigger than just like recreational weed for him.
Oh,
and
true.
Story.
Yes, I know. Go ahead and explain to the listener.
One of my sales guys has met him in person and said that he is the nicest, most genuinely sincere, and I believe, and maybe I'm just naive, I guess sometimes, but I believe that he would love to be able to just put it down and play football.
Yeah,
that severe anxiety, it's, and if you've ever, dealt with somebody with that, or, that's that debilitating anxiety, one of the pitchers that played in the World Series has it, and I don't know what he takes, but it obviously works for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I probably will lose a couple of listeners of the show, but when you said my coworker met him, he's such a nice, impressionable guy, blah, blah, I was like, oh, was he high then? That was good.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a different perspective on it when it comes to him.
I know. I was just being me. That's all. I was being petty white for a moment. So, Zeke, Kyle, you're not too still high on him being paid. I still think he deserves his money. His performance.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. Real quick. Mm-hmm. We've seen how Dak is taken to the next level this season, right?
Yeah.
We've seen how Amari Cooper. Do you think this offense runs better with Zeke or Amari Cooper?
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper. Yeah, Amari. Yeah.
Okay. So that's my argument right there. A running back is nice to have, but to me, it's a luxury. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you took Amari Cooper out of this game, I mean, they lost the Jets, right? They had Zeke. If you take Amari Cooper, they lost the freaking Jets. You know what I mean? I think Amari Cooper is the straw that stirs this drink. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not Zeke. It really isn't. It's. I mean, you can eliminate easily, I think, a running back. You know what I mean? But Cooper, he's such a precise route runner. He's got good feet work. He's got good hands. I mean,
he's tough.
He's
tough
as
hell.
Yeah. I'm not saying Zeke's not tough. I mean, he is. He's never missed a game either. But I think this offense, like I said, we saw what this offense looked like with Zeke in the backfield and no receiver. I think it's night and day with Cooper. And if I had to make a decision, I'm paying Dak and I'm paying Cooper than I am paying, all three of them. You know what I mean? That's just me personally.
Yeah, I would try.
This isn't fantasy football. This is there's a cap, and
I would try and figure out some type of fancy way to pay them all.
Yeah,
but at the same time, we don't have that culture to try and sell anything, outside of like we're gonna get all these championships, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. Yeah. the Patriots organization, they could keep a Zach and a Dak, a Cooper and a Zeke on their team at the same damn time. Because there's a winning culture there.
Yep.
People might take a pay cut. Not
Exactly,
not here in Dallas. What's your thoughts on that, Lisa?
Yeah, I agree with everything y'all are saying. I mean, like, I do think Zeke, because it is like you said, it's a three-headed monster. It could be a three-headed monster because without Amari, Zeke's game and Dak's game suffer. Without Zeke, the passing game suffers because there's no threat of a run. Without Dak, both of them suffer. So it's like, okay, and I'm starting to get a little antsy. I really thought Dak still would be done by now.
Me too.
I think Ian Rappaport was the one that said that Dak is headed for the franchise tag, and Jerry got 1,000,000% feisty in his interview on the Fan on Monday or yesterday maybe. And I don't know how they get it all done, but ultimately I have come back to, you're worth $5 billion, so figure it out. And you have three pieces you have the three main pieces of your offense that you've needed. And Amari is a grown man. And, it pains my heart to say it because he's an Alabama guy, but it is unbelievable how, like Kyle said, the preciseness of his routes and his awareness of his space awareness on the field. Dez was good on pure athletic ability. Dez could not, if there was a route running contest, Dak gets killed. This one with Amari.
Yeah, I will put money. I will put money on all of us in a route running contest against Dez right now. But,
right. But what I'm saying is, like, I didn't realize how that when me saying Dez was a bad route runner, I'm not saying Dez was a bad receiver because his athletic ability made him.
It made up for everything else.
But when you
but
when you see the routes and the separation, that's the reason for those that don't understand why is Amari getting so many offensive PIs, because in your rational brain, it's hard to go, how in the world did he get that much separation if he didn't push off? Here, let me throw my flag because something has to go south. And of course, everybody, all defensive players, when they get burnt, are calling for some sort of penalty, push off,
exactly,
whatever.
Exactly.
Same way all receivers are calling for defensive PI. I get it.
Exactly.
But yeah, you've got the pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, you're probably going to have to shore up your offensive line. You're going back through. It's like road construction. Now you finish this end of the highway, you got to go back in. But I think, me personally, biggest need, maybe not in the first round, but somewhere to me, first round has to be safety. But I don't know if you want to spend.
And see, the thing
they won't do it. No,
they won't do it.
D-tackle. You have to have a big body D-tackle.
They will not do it. It's going to be an offensive lineman. Because I'm telling you, that's just what it's going to be. They're going to try and reshore up the offensive line before they do anything else.
You know what they need to do is reshore the defensive line, because right now I'm telling you right now. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, DeMarcus Lawrence is under contract for next 5 or 6 years, right? All the talk is if they cut Tyrone Crawford, they save $8 million. And we said he's a good guy, but he doesn't really. He's okay.
I don't think he does anything.
Okay, so let's say you cut him. Okay, Bennett, he's only on a 1-year contract. He's a free agent after this year.
True,
okay.
but the one thing.
Free agent. Robert Quinn, free agent. Your whole line, they're all free agents. You need to address that defensive line this year.
True, but when you mention the name of Michael Bennett, and he's not going to be back here next year and stuff like hell, why would he? But isn't like the little things that he's showing? Shouldn't that be an indicator to coaching staff? People that make the decisions on personnel with the football team. Shouldn't they sit there and be like, we kind of want to get a guy, kind of shaped like this and has a skill set like this.
But he's not a big body either.
True, but I don't.
He's the prototype because he can play more than one position.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what makes him so much more effective than what? Well, I guess I've already answered that question. He's just more talented than what we got.
Yeah,
in
some
that
people are just more
position.
talented. Yeah, exactly. Some people are just
Because
more
I'm
talented.
telling you, it's just like, to me, this is like a couple of situations where it just seemed like a thing of beauty to me, where I saw, Lawrence on the outside coming in. He's getting ready to make a play. Because
But he didn't,
Kirk
and
Cousins threw the
Dalvin Cook ran
ball.
for 30 yards on a
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah, but then you see Bennett like leveling the quarterback real quick. I mean, I just like stuff like that. I think that type of stuff in the beginning of the game changes the outcome of how the game's going to end, because you're punishing people. We never punish any damn buddy.
Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah.
We're punishing our own damn players.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about this statistic if you haven't already heard it. This is the yards after contact.
Oh,
I know it's like by 5 billion yards by now.
No, I'm talking about just this singular game compared to your worst game prior to Sunday night.
And I know. I mean, I'm serious. 5 billion yards. So
Mm-mm.
go ahead.
No. Realistically, okay, so prior to Sunday night, the most yards after contact we had given up, which in my opinion is still atrocious, was 71. Which to me, I feel like is... My mind was blown at 71 yards after contact. That means that's some crappy...
Tackling's been bad this year. It's been noticeably bad this year, yeah.
Hold your horses. And if you're not seated, you may want to be. Sunday night, yards after contact, 144.
Oh, my God.
God, I've never said this. I was getting ready to say a word in the show I've never said before. But it was
I'm watching NFL Network right now, and they're replaying the game, ironically, right now as we speak. And I'm watching Dalvin Cook just run over people. He just split 3 tackles right there, literally in this one play in the third quarter.
And I can't, every single time I would be like looking, who is the person? Because a lot of times they were in the right spot, they would have a poor angle. They would stick out one arm. And then it's just, and that again, as much as I've said, I don't feel like the whole coaching staff needs to go like Troy has, but I want to see so I was telling Kyle earlier, I had a conversation with my brother. My brother's like, you can't fire the coach in the middle of the season. Oh, yes, I can. And if I'm the GM, I look at this last half of the season as, okay, if I fire my coach right now on the Monday after the Minnesota game, where there were clearly coaching errors, flaws. I mean, there has been in every other game, but to me, I felt like they were magnified in the Minnesota game. But as a GM or the owner, I'm going, okay, if I fire my coach right now, but I leave my coordinators, if you will, in place, it's kind of like a free job interview. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. That's the benefit of it. Yeah. You
right.
Interview guys earlier.
Okay,
yeah.
Kellen probably, I'm guessing Kellen or potentially even Rod Marinelli. I don't know. Maybe one of those two. Maybe even Richard. I don't know. One of them was probably made interim head coach. Okay.
I think technically Marinelli is the next man up. I think he's technically assistant head coach. So if Garrett
something.
I think just by contractual obligation, Marinelli's the guy.
Yeah. Okay. So in that scenario, you can say, okay, Kellen, so was it really that you were that bad at your play calling, or were you limited because you were still, yes, you were calling the plays, but it was from Jason Garrett's playbook. So you get to call the plays, but here's your options. Okay, Richard, are you really calling the defense, or are you being able to call the defenses out of this list of Marinelli's defensive playbook? Okay, let's take the wheels off now and go.
Well, see, that's what I would do one step further, just going by what Kyle said as far as Marinelli being the next man up. Jason Garrett and Ron Marinelli would be gone. And I would roll the dice on that for the rest of the season. And you know what? I might not put the young kid as a head coach or Richard as a head coach, because you know what? You got somebody on there who got a little coaching experience and stuff. The QB whisperer.
Maybe 100%.
Maybe he should be the head coach.
He even knows he always had this really fiery attitude. I would like to see that
Mm-hmm.
as an offensive head coach. You know what I mean? Like I think he was the kind of guy that would take advantage of other teams' misfortunes. I think he would not take his foot off the throat. He just seems like that kind of a guy. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
he'd be the type of guy to run up a score. He'd be the type of guy that would run up a score of 58-0. You know what I mean? Because he could. You know
And
what
I
mean?
would love
just-
it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
See,
exactly.
like wrestler celebration moves in my own
Yeah.
living room when that happens.
Yeah.
Well, here's another wrinkle to the thing that makes me more so believe that Kellen is calling the plays from Jason Garrett's book
Oh,
of
there's no doubt in my mind. Yeah.
magical wizardry, but and not
10
good,
10
not good
10
magical
plays.
wizardry. Yeah,
10
from
plays.
the 10 options. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like it's like the Tecmo Bowl playbook and stuff. It's like 4 plays are the same, and then they're flipped and stuff on the next
Yeah.
page.
Exactly.
because when Scott Linehan got fired last year, Jason wasn't told. This is how I understand it. Jason wasn't told until after it happened, and he was pissed.
Mhm.
And there was
Yeah.
in the same time when they're telling him, "P.S. One of your best friends is fired." It's probably going to be Kellen Moore. We're going to put in that role, and that at first he that's not who he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now that Kellen is for sure, was named that and whatever, it's kind of like the Tavon Austin thing. Kellen in his mind is like, well, I'm expendable, so I got to do what he wants me to do.
Yeah, because didn't
Yeah.
Jason want to do calling himself if it was his job
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the line? Like,
Yeah,
okay, so
and you know
well,
what?
if he can't do it, he can do it, but he's going to use my playbook, essentially. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what? And what
Yeah.
Lisa is saying makes 100% sense. Okay, yeah, we can all agree that maybe, Moore is calling the plays, and we can agree that Richard is calling the plays, but which plays are they? What selection of plays?
That's what's
And
so
that
mind-blowing.
lot of-
It's always
Yeah.
been this way. There's always this
Yeah.
weird crowd.
And-
Who's
and to
calling
me,
plays?
Have you guys seen the movies The Jerk? Because I'm kind of forced myself to put in an 80s movie reference.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Martin,
like it's kind of like he's like running the game stand. He's like, okay, you can pick these plays right here, right between the toy and the chewing gum over here, right between this small 1-inch area. So now you got 3 plays to choose from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been this way. Do you remember that one year we had Callahan was a quote unquote offensive coordinator, and it turns
Mhm.
out at the end of the year, Jason
Yeah.
was calling plays the entire time, like.
Yes.
And then he hires Linehan, who he knows, so it's the Jason Garrett playbook again. And now it's Moore, and it's still the Jason Garrett playbook, just another person calling it. You know what I mean? Because it's like they have this weird thing they don't want to disrupt what a quarterback knows. Like same with Tony Romo. They don't. Oh, well, we're going to keep the same offense because God forbid Tony Romo learn a new offense. It's like, okay, with Dak, God forbid Dak learn a new offense. I see other quarterbacks do it all the freaking time, and they don't just fall flat in their face if they're good
And
enough to do
P.S.
it. You know what I mean?
Tony
Mhm.
didn't learn a new offense because he was audibling out of everything they called. at the
Yeah,
end.
exactly.
True.
So he pretty much created his own offense.
Yeah.
So let me be one of the crazy fans that says, let's bring Tony Romo back as OC. Like,
See, I would disagree.
no, I'm just kidding.
That's
We talk about that all the time.
I want
Yeah.
a guy who's had experience. I mean, like, someone's like, oh, don't be surprised if maybe Jason. I mean, look, I love Witten, but I don't want Witten as my head coach for the first
Well,
time.
and
It makes no sense.
this is the whole thing about it.
Same with
What?
Romo. Romo has
That's
never
all-
called plays. I'm not making that man my head coach. He's never even called
that's
a play.
It's the whole thing. Is like, what is the hell is wrong with people?
Oh, I know.
What has Jason Witten ever showed you to make you think that he could be a good NFL coach?
Mm-hmm.
And excluding, that Romo can call plays sitting in the stand, but do you think that Romo's the only person that can do that? That's
Exactly.
his bit. That's what he
I know.
does. That's just his bit.
And sometimes it's predictable. I can be like, oh, it's going to be a running play.
Yeah, and I'll be like, no
hard.
shit, Romo.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
No.
I
Thanks,
love,
Captain Obvious.
yeah, it's like I love
Yeah.
you and stuff, but I think everybody on Earth could have told a running play was coming up
Mhm.
next.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring up something else. We brought up Jason Witten, and I got to say, it's heavy on my spirit, so I got to say,
Is
I
it
love
something
him.
is it something I've already
we've
mentioned?
talked about it.
I'm
About it in the
like,
group text.
yes.
Sometimes I feel like I don't remember if we've talked about it on the show or in the group text. So if I repeat myself, let me know. But I love him. I do. But it's time. It's time. And this is the thing that frustrates me. Not just the Jason Witten, Blake Jarwin thing, because it is so again, it was so drastically obvious in the game the other night. When you throw it to Blake Jarwin, he's not going down the minute the ball is secured. He's probably going to run for maybe 2, maybe 22 yards after he catches it.
And here's the stat. And here's the stat to verify. Jason Witten averages almost 10 yards per play. Blake Jarwin close to 14. That's the difference. That's the proof in the pudding. That's all season.
And so you look at that in terms of, I mean, I know that it wasn't a play to the tight end, that left us at 2nd and 2 and 3rd and 2. Okay, but you get 4 extra yards per play that go to the tight ends. Let's say the one game where Jason Witten had 10 catches. Okay, that's field position difference. 4 extra yards per play to the tight end. I mean, that's significant. And so but it's not just him. It's not just adding that to the mix. I don't want him, and I know they had some questions about his blocking ability. Okay, throw him to the wolves, because if he can catch passes and run for more than 18 millimeters when he catches it, it's a win. And the same goes with Tony Pollard. You have the ability to have a two-headed monster, but you're so flippin' stuck in your ways that you just won't do it. God forbid we become unpredictable for a second.
No.
Well, see, and here's my thing, and here's my application and stuff and this is all I'm going to put on my application to become head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. We have talent on this ball club, and believe me when I tell you this, every play that we run with our level of talent, I'm going to hit opponents with everything but the kitchen sink. Week in and week out, because that's how you become less predictable.
But I'm also going to plan. I'm going to have a game plan. I'm going to have a high level one based on my team's abilities, but then I'm going to implement a game plan depending on who we're playing.
Exactly. Yep.
Is there a prep man on this team any damn where? So we're playing the Lions this week.
Yeah.
Is there a prep man scouting the Patriots right now, getting stuff ready for after we get through playing the Lions?
That. Yeah. I think
sure.
they do. Yeah.
Because I get paid a lot.
Yeah. Do they actually?
Do they actually? Home, they're already watching game film of the opponent next week's team.
Yeah. Do they actually pay attention to any of this stuff? There's been 8 weeks of Minnesota Viking football. So when you told me that Travis Frederick said this is things that he has not seen, why the hell not?
Because
the Minnesota coaches didn't implement it until the week of the Cowboys game, so it wasn't on film.
Not even that. I mean, this is Garrett's mantra. I've said this before.
Yeah.
Nameless, faceless opponent. Everyone's the same. No opponent's different. They're all the same to Garrett. We run the same plays week in and week out because every team's the same, and we do what we do. It doesn't matter if some team has a weaker secondary and we should pass more, or they can't stop the run, so we should run more. They're nameless. They're faceless. That's our Cowboy. That's the Cowboy way, and it's BS. It's BS. It's BS because no two teams are the same. I'm sorry, there's not.
And one quick thing and stuff too before I forget, because it keeps on bouncing in and out of my mind. I don't know what happened to Cheeto, because when he didn't seem bad when he first started. I don't know if it's a mental thing, a block, or whatever. And I don't know if you can just totally remove him from the lineup or from playing, because something's wrong with this guy.
I wonder if he'd be better in the slot. I'd rather see Jordan Lewis play more outside. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. You got to be careful with it though, because you can ruin players. I already see, because to me it seems like he's shell shocked or something. You just can't totally, completely dismiss him or anything. You got to have him do something, because if you just totally just wipe him off, he ain't never coming back to being right again.
You know what? If I'm a head coach, I can't worry about my players' feelings right now.
Hell no.
True.
And Jordan Lewis needs to play one side, and Byron Jones needs to play the other, because Cheeto is getting exposed. Teams are picking on him like they used to do with Mo Claiborne. It's getting almost that level. They are picking on him. You know what I mean? And
they throw to where he is, no matter where he is.
Yeah, but how did Mo Claiborne turn it around? Well, because it was the pay year.
He never did. He never turned it around.
That last season he got better. That last season,
but better compared to what?
He only played 5 games that season. Remember, he missed most of the season with a core injury, like the abdomen
Yeah.
sprain, and then he hurt it again in the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right.
And then he went to he's been in like 3 teams since the Cowboys. I don't think he's on the roster right now. He's not on
he
the
went
roster.
when he went
Kansas
to
City,
Ravens,
right?
the Jets,
Yeah.
Ravens,
He went to
Jets.
the Jets first.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah, these are the Jets for a year. He signed
And
2
maybe
one-year
Kansas
deals with the
City.
Jets.
No, that's
yeah.
Brandon Carr. I don't know.
And let me clarify. It's like I agree with you guys saying about Lewis and Jones and feelings, even at that standpoint. But I just thought that this guy had some type of talent.
He did. That first year, he was pretty good. Yeah.
And I do feel when you see a guy that has something, maybe you should try and protect them a little bit because it might just be something going on. Not saying to hold his hand or anything like that, but you don't want to ruin a player.
You are kind of saying that, and I don't care at this point. I want there to not be, because we already know that if it gets past the corners, one of the safeties is suspect. So, like, put Jordan Lewis. I don't care if he is 5 feet tall. If he's a ball hawk.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's definitely.
I almost said the big curse word just now. I had to catch myself.
I said fecal matter earlier and stuff.
Yeah,
anyway,
no, I was going to say the one that starts with an F and rhymes with duck, but I stopped myself. Yeah, that one almost slipped out just now. But put Jordan, do something with him to get him on the field. I don't care what it looks like. Do something different. And that's the thing. If we're rolling out there and we're up and we're throwing different things at different teams and we're getting our asses kicked, okay, fair. We're trying everything we can and we just suck. But to have, just like you said earlier, Troy, to have this much talent and to be rolling out with the same predictable BS like we have for basically 9.5 years, 10.5 or whatever, however long it's been, like you cannot then say to this fan base, it's going to be okay. Win. Yeah. It'll be okay if we lose some extra dead weight.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. The whole thing just doesn't make sense. And I just don't know what it's going to take for Jerry Jones to realize that. Because it's hard to question a guy or hard to tell something a guy that has $5 billion in his bank account. Well, the fans keep on going to the games and people watch all over the country. I'm out for that glory hole. Go Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. It's like everything has to completely bottom out for him to get it.
Well, I think the thing about it is,
and I don't want that to happen.
Jones. Yeah, Stephen Jones has. I mean, I think Stephen Jones has more sense than Jerry. I think, anyways, when it comes
on a contract standpoint. But I'm not sure about personnel yet. But as far as the money, as far as structuring and money, well, I'm what I mean is not saying that if he's better than Jerry as far as personnel decisions. I'm just saying, is he really a football guy when it comes to personnel decisions?
Yeah, I think he's definitely not afraid to make the cold-hearted choices.
Right.
Because Jerry gets too emotionally attached. We all know this. He gets emotionally attached to these players. Where Stephen is like, okay, you're not producing, you're cut. Okay, your salary is too high, we're cutting it down. You don't like it, hit the road. You know what I mean? He's actually, I mean, he's the only one that's really come out and said that. We expect this team to take the next. We need this team for Jason. He needs it. Steven said that. You know what I mean? I've heard in several podcasts. He has said that. I mean, if the team doesn't make the playoffs, even let's be real here. We talked about the Eagles' schedule last week. I mean, they got 2 hard games, and then it's literally they're playing a JV schedule. The Dolphins, Giants, and Redskins. I mean, Dallas could lose to the Patriots. They could lose to the Bills, and they could lose to the Eagles week 16, and because they're not getting this wild card. We know that wild card is not coming from this team. We saw that game
coming out of the West. From the West.
For sure. And it's coming out of the North. Let's be real here. It's coming out of the North too, because the Vikings and the Packers are good teams. You know what I mean? They're coming from a 9-7 East. You know what I mean? It's not. So
and speaking of which, let's go ahead and look at if the playoffs started today. What would that look like?
Seattle. We play Seattle.
Yeah, we play Seattle.
Inspiring with confidence. You
still got the. Well, who else you got? The Niners. You got the Packers in there. You got the Vikings in there, and the Saints. Yep. How many teams of those that we played have we beat so far this year?
Over 3. Over 3.
Okay, what's the record of teams that we've beat so far this season? Is
Okay.
any of those winning teams?
We got the 2-win Dolphins, the 2-win Giants, and the 2-win Jets.
And the
No,
one
we
win.
didn't.
Eagles
We didn't
won
beat the
5
Jets.
games.
Oh yeah, we didn't beat
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
Jets.
We didn't beat the Jets, and you just stabbed me in my heart all over again, Kyle.
Oh my God, yeah. Battle of New York got me this week. Sorry, I'm thinking Jets on my mind. Yeah, that was a hell of a game. So the 2-win Dolphins, the 2-win Giants, the 1-win Red. Sorry, 1-win
Yes,
Red. Yeah.
and you know one staggering thing you showed me earlier today, Kyle, because we've been kind of looking at points given up, by the defense, and the Cowboys were ranked 5th in the league, 177 points. They're slipping because they were like
4th
3 or 4
last week.
Yeah, so they're slipping, but the thing is, 177 points, ranked 5 in the NFL. New England's ranked number 1 at what right now?
It was like 98 points.
Yeah,
like they broke 100 points.
8 points.
Not even 100 yet, and we're over halfway through the season.
Yeah, they're like 3 games worth of points ahead of the Cowboys.
Maybe even 4.
And
I mean,
the majority of that,
98.
like,
That's
let's
ridiculous.
put it in realistic terms. Damn near 40 of that came against the Ravens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The Ravens, I think, scored 38.
And correct me if and I could be wrong, but we play the Patriots in a few weeks. I think the Bears were up there, right? We play them in a few weeks, and I think the Bills were up there. We play them in a few weeks. So I mean, we're not playing slouch. These teams are competitive, and you never know what Dallas is going to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. But you were right just with that point right there. We shouldn't even look at the schedule, look at what these teams' records are, because in this organization, it does not matter. Because the Bears we're gonna play the Bears, and Mitch is gonna look like the second coming of Christ and stuff all
against
of a sudden.
this secondary, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean,
I'm gonna cry because my brother-in-law is a Bears fan, and I know that sounds selfish on my part, but if the Cowboys don't win another game, I need them to win on December 5th.
Well, look how this defense played this game.
They got
they got 1 sack, right, on Kirk Cousins? 1? Was it 1? Okay, they got no turnovers.
And that's another big difference. But that's the difference between the week before or the Eagles game and this game.
Let me give you another fun fact.
They had 6 sacks and 3 turnovers. Like they were on a tear, and then they play a good team and they get shut down. And I mean, that also makes me wonder is like this whole okay, we're gonna run the ball to kill time. No, you're not good enough to kill time. Get cute. You score. But that tells me, do they not trust this defense? I mean, that's
absolutely not. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't get it. I do not get it. This team is not good enough to be like, get cute, and you're not guaranteed to score. You just get the points, and then worry about it later. Get the freaking points.
I'm still trying to figure out and stuff. In that situation, you got. Now, granted, I thought that Jason Witten, should have been a flag thrown on that play.
No doubt.
But
he was basically tackled.
But when you got Gallup and Cobb and Cooper in this particular game, catching balls all over the freaking place.
They could not be stopped.
Possible ways, you're not going to roll the dice in on one of them 3.
I know.
When you need that touchdown at the end.
It's just like I said. Garrett he just has no sense of his team. I don't know, man. You don't get cute. You score the freaking points. You kick off and you play defense. You know what I mean? Like you gotta you can't be thinking like. I mean, sometimes it boils down to football is checkers, not chess. You know what I mean? And I feel like Garrett's always trying to play chess. Dude, it's checkers sometimes. Score.
I don't even know. I don't know if he was trying to play chess.
He's playing Chinese checkers. What he's doing.
Because him going for that field goal, the first series of the game,
that was ridiculous.
That was just dumb. For what?
I know.
Those first couple of series in a game.
Yeah.
If you're sizing each other up, the possession, field possession, or where you got the ball in the field is very important at that point. So you already put him in scoring position, basically at that point.
Had midfield, I know.
Yeah, so we got the Lions up next week because we're gonna close this show down here.
Sure.
Real quick. What what are you guys' thought process? You guys got any confidence against the Lions?
I mean, I do because.
But and we're all going to be in the same boat because it's going to be a struggle. But I feel like the Cowboys are going to win still at the end, and we shouldn't be like that. That's what you're all going to say, aren't you?
I'm going to say that they're playing with Jeff Driscoll, right? If I'm a coach and a coordinator, I'm going to say, you know what? This guy is a backup. Let's just blitz the hell out of him and make him make mistakes. But you know what? Dallas is not going to do that. They're going to play the game. They're going to rush four. They're going to rush four, and then let that dictate the tone of the game.
But how do you know that, Kyle? From coming from average fan that rarely watches and just assumes.
How do I know? It's the philosophy of this team. They don't change. We talked about this. They do not.
Sam Darnold.
He's the same thing. They know what they're going to do.
I don't think he looked like. I mean, Cowboys made him look like he was. There's like
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana and Troy even made a child. But
I'm telling you right now, if we make Jeff Driscoll look like an all-pro, if somebody's not fired on a week from, or this coming Monday, I'm probably going to lose my mind.
I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me. That's all.
How many people were fired when Colt McCoy did it a couple years back?
Yeah, that's a little bit different because to me, just that it just was a different tone. I get it that it's the same, but it didn't feel that way to me. The Lions, because the Lions don't have any. I mean, I don't know. I would have a hard time believing we would lose if they did have Matt Stafford. I for sure have a hard time processing this losing. But I also didn't think we'd lose to the Jets. So,
I mean, if Dallas is playing with their, I don't know what happens when the backs are against the wall. So.
That's what I said earlier.
Well, maybe they should lose this one and have their backs against the wall against the Patriots.
Oh God, they're not winning that game. I mean,
But here's the thing. Okay, so let's talk about the Patriots game. But this is why we won't Patriots game because we will. It's the nameless, faceless again.
Yep. Well, because you know what's going to happen? Belichick is going to take away they're going to eliminate Zeke. Let's be real here. They're going to eliminate Zeke, and Dallas is going to be stubborn enough to keep handing the ball to Zeke. And he's going to finish the game with like 50 yards on 18 carries, and it's going to be a loss. It's already,
but here's the real underlying thing, and here's where why New England got their ass handed to them by Baltimore. New England's Achilles heel on defense is a running mobile quarterback. So if I know that as a 46-year-old female, surely to God, somebody that's getting paid 10 minutes up the road would be like, maybe we should have some more designed runs put into our game plan for the Patriots game.
Well, of course not.
We all
of course not.
Going to.
They don't. Not.
Why would they alter the game plan? Why would they change up? They've been doing this for 3 years now. Why would they change now? They're not going to do it. Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
If you won 3 Super Bowls, I get it. Don't change the damn thing, but you haven't.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now.
You haven't even sniffed a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You haven't even had to put tickets on hold for a Super Bowl.
Yep. I mean, this is what's going on right now. Right now, as we speak, Jason Garrett's probably standing by his window, just looking out the window and just staring off into space. Whatever the hell he does. I mean,
he's doing
trigonometry
equations in his head right now.
Jerry Jones is slowly drifting away, dreaming in black and white of him walking with Jason Garrett by the creek, skipping rocks like it's the opening of the Andy Griffith Show. That's what's going on right now.
That's the thing, honestly. Like when we say that and we joke, but like that's why I think they hold on to him because Jerry's quote unquote in his mind because Jason Garrett was his handpicked prodigy.
Oh yeah.
And he's so afraid that if he lets him go and they win a Super Bowl right after he's gone, that it tarnishes then Jerry's legacy because it's Jerry's fault for the last 10 years. Okay, get to you. It's your fault anyway because of the last 10 years because you let him stay this long.
And he's wasted He's wasted so many players. Like I said,
careers.
Romo, Dez, DeMarco, Witten. Like they've wasted so many players' career. DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah. Jesus, a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And it's really, really sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're just about out of time this week, and I'd like to thank everybody for listening into the show. If you're listening to the show, go ahead and follow us on the _Chronicles on Instagram. Go ahead and send us a DM if you got questions for the show, or if you would like to be on the show. And we might allow that. You just never know with us. And a special shout out to the people of France. 27% this week.
What up, France?
France.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah.
Keep on sharing it with your
We
friends.
definitely want somebody from France on this. It'd be like,
That would be awesome.
my Texas accent, accent, Troy's Midwest accent, and French. Now that's good podcasting, right?
Yeah.
there.
Yes. People will be like, listen, like, I don't even know what I just heard. I heard like different variations of saying Dallas Cowboys are America's team. and not only America's team.
The team of Earth.
The team of planet Earth. And it might be the solar system too now. I can't verify it. But you never know.
Yeah.
But on behalf of myself, I'd like to thank you all for listening to the show. I'm going to be out of here. You guys want to say bye to the people?
Bye, Cowboys Nation. Just win, and I don't know. I'm not even inspired right now by this team. Let's win and I guess make the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Yay, team. Let's go.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
exactly. It's such a roller coaster. I'll stop.
The thing about it is, here it is, Cowboys Nation. We can't win them all. We can't coming Sunday. Take care of the one this week, then we'll worry about the Patriots.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Because that's what you got to look forward to, friends.
Yep.
For the rest of the damn season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. But anyways, me and Kyle will be back later this week with some type of show on Cowboys history of the good old days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something good. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll see you guys
Awesome.
around, and we'll see you next week.